It's July 10th, 2023. You're watching Russia Hates the Truth, a fact-based current events program produced by the AFU's Territorial Defense Forces Media Studios. I'm Sarah Ashton-Cirillo of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, coming to you direct from Kyiv, and I'm glad you care about the truth. We have a full show today, including a strange attack on cartoon dogs by Maria Zakharova, the Russian military signing drug addicts to contracts, the release of more POWs, further Russian propaganda about cluster munitions, and a look at Ukrainian expectations for the upcoming NATO summit. First, though, we lead with the murder of multiple Ukrainians at the hands of Russian terrorists. A guided missile struck a humanitarian drop-off location in Kyiv, Zaporizhzhia Oblast today. The strike happened as the aid delivery took place, resulting in the immediate deaths of 4 civilians and injuries to almost a dozen more. As Russia loses ground on the battlefield, they resort to more blatant acts of terror. Russia is a terrorist state. Now we go to our lead story. Maria Zakharova, the chief propagandist of Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and an unindicted war criminal, launched an unhinged attack on a growing pack of cartoon dogs. Full disclosure before I continue. Prior to chasing after some make-believe Shiba Inus, Putin's favorite blonde sniffed me out, personally attacking me through her Telegram page, along with the feeds belonging to the Russian Embassy in the US and the Russian MFA in April of 2022. For those unfamiliar, the North American Fellows Organization, widely known as NAFO, is a decentralized group of loosely affiliated Ukraine supporters who hold fundraisers for Ukrainian NGOs and nonprofits while helping drown out the noise of Russian propaganda online. Known for using customized Shiba Inu avatars, they have long been a thorn in the side of the Kremlin's bot-centered information army. This weekend, the copium surrounding NAFO became too much for Zakharova as members shed their online personas for an in-person meetup in Vilnius. As released on the officially verified Russian MFA's Twitter feed, the towering propaganda czar had this to say, quote, "NAFO personifies what the EU has seemed to be fighting: hate speech, intolerance, all forms of xenophobia. This is the essence of the West's hypocrisy." Zakharova continued, "We ourselves will become sons of bitches, if only to spite Russia." Maria Zakharova and the Russians hate the truth that their crumbling Kremlin narrative has fallen so far that they have to resort to trying to neuter a bunch of Twitter accounts to make up for the fact that they are now 499 days late on carrying out their goals of full-scale war against Ukraine. Also in Russia, the AFU's Division of Strategic Communications revealed that more than 300 people who signed contracts with the Russian military are training at a base in the eastern military district of the Altai Territory. Among the recruits are former prisoners, the homeless, drug addicts, and those severely ill, including hepatitis patients. Russia hates the truth that the global community is aware that Putin is using his faltering war efforts to cull those who are considered undesirable by the Kremlin. In Ukraine, we understand that every life holds value and each life is sacred, a lesson Russia and their allies in Iran would do well to learn. It isn't just NAFO who gathered in Vilnius. NATO convenes on July 11th for a 2-day summit. Ukraine will be a key focus of the participants. Most nations in attendance have signaled their support for Ukrainian membership in the alliance, including most recently, Turkey and France. Ukraine's Euro-Atlantic course is constitutionally enshrined, with Kyiv having submitted its official application to join the organization in September of 2022. The reality is Ukraine already holds de facto NATO status and is only awaiting legal formalities. The Ukrainian government expects to leave Vilnius with a clear time frame for ascension to the alliance. In addition, it is expected that NATO states will prioritize the supply of weapons needed by the armed forces of Ukraine to liberate the illegally and temporarily occupied territories while achieving a return to the country's 1991 borders. With Russian propaganda still pushing false tales of cluster munition use by the ZSU, it is necessary to remind the world that DPICMs will be used only to reduce Russia's military capacity. These dual-purpose munitions help the ZSU equalize the Russian artillery advantage while allowing us to break through the enemy's heavily fortified defensive lines. Our use of cluster munitions is legal and needed for survival and liberation. Russia uses them in violation of law to carry out war crimes and terrorism. Russia hates the truth that they can't fool the world about DPICMs. This weekend, thanks to the consent of the Turkish government, Ukraine welcomed back some of the heroes who led the defense of Mariupol. This stand caused the enemy a significant depletion of troops and resources. Ukraine has seen to the return of more than 2,000 POWs and is working to bring every hero home from Russian confinement. Russia keeps our troops in inhuman conditions while torturing and depriving them of food and medical treatment. They also committed a mass murder of Ukrainian POWs at Olenivka prison in the summer of 2022. Make no mistake, these criminals carrying out this carnage against our brave defenders know they will never escape justice. We will never stop fighting to ensure every Ukrainian returns home from the terrorist state. We end with news from Andriy Kovalov, the AFU's General Staff spokesman. This morning he explained that in the directions of Melitopol and Berdyansk, the ZSU has taken back 169 square kilometers since the resumption of offensive actions, while in the area of Bakhmut, 20 square kilometers have been liberated this week alone. Ukraine will be fully returned to its 1991 borders, and Russia will lose this war. Slava Ukraini, and may God bless our troops.